Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 117, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. This week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is dated Friday, December the 3rd, 2021. And there's a big picture on the front page with the Salvation Army kettle. The campaign has begun. Here's members of the Neepawa Bells, Bow, and Builders 4-H Club helping with the local Salvation Army kettle campaign on November the 27th. And pictured here are Ellison, Cheryl, and Claire Beaumont. Volunteers are now out and about, ringing bells and collecting donations for the Salvation Army. The annual kettle fundraising campaign started last weekend to raise money for the Neepawa Community Ministries Center's work in the community, also known as NCMC. Community Ministries Director Amanda Nightingale explained that a large portion of the money collected with the kettles is used for their Christmas hamper program, which provides supplies for a holiday meal and presents to families in the area. Of course, any residual money raised also goes to any of our family services that we provide within the community, our year-round food bank, emergency services, all of that kind of stuff, she added. The kettles will be out regularly on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from now until December 23rd, rotating locations throughout the community. NCMC has 2 kettles, which may be found at Tim Tom's Asian Grocery, Red Apple, the Post Office, Home Hardware, the Co-op Grocery Store and Gas Bar, Harris Pharmacy, Fast Gas, 7-Eleven, Giant Tiger, Fresh Mart, and Vigo's Kitchenette. Some locations will have the kettle set up indoors while they will be outside of other places. While NCMC does have some volunteers lined up, Nightingale said that they are still looking for fully vaccinated people who can offer an hour or two to cover a kettle shift this season. And it goes on to say, while the Christmas kettles have been a long-standing tradition for Salvation Army branches all over North America, the campaign has continued to evolve to keep up with the times. Last year, the organization started offering tip-tap devices, which allow people to donate by tapping their credit or debit card or a smart device with a digital payment app. NCMC had planned to use these devices during their kettle campaign last year, but due to technical difficulties, were not able to. This year, we've tested it and it does work in the community, so yes, we will have the tip-tap option out there. It definitely is more convenient. You can tap up to 10 times on any card or on your smart pay device. She added that they have the options of $5, $10, or $20 per tap. In addition to their tip-tap devices out with the kettles, Nightingale noted that the NCMC has some countertop devices available for businesses who would like to help collect donations. We're hoping that local businesses will be a part of our tip-tap business campaign and look to host one of our counter displays. They're nice little small displays for a day or two and challenge another business to see who can raise the most money over the campaign, she shared. They can sign up for a day. We will bring you a coin box and one of our countertop displays, and then we will come and pick it up at the end of your business day, and we can keep track of how much you've collected in taps and count your money, and we will kind of put that information out of who the top grossing fundraisers are out there. We're hoping that the generosity of our business community can help us raise a little bit more funds with maybe some bragging rights and a little bit of social media buzz on who the top tip tappers are in Neepawa. Nightingale noted that they typically have 25 to 30 families that NCMC helps year-round with their variety of programs. During the Christmas season, however, the organization usually sees a rise in requests for assistance. We're anticipating that will probably be about 130 hampers, if not more, Nightingale said, of this year's numbers. In addition to that, coordinators in Gladstone organize Christmas hampers for the Westlake Gladstone area on behalf of the NCMC, and they typically give out 20 to 25 hampers. Applications for hampers officially closed on December the 1st. However, Nightingale said that they are extending that deadline to December the 10th to allow more time for anyone who didn't get a chance to apply yet. I just want to thank anybody who walks by a kettle and drops in a coin or a bill or taps their cards this year. It does go a long way, and you really do give hope to families in need. Anyone wanting to apply for a hamper, offer their services as a kettlebell ringer, or host a tip-tap device at their business can contact Amanda Nightingale at NCMC at 204-476-5869. And speaking of displays, here is a beautiful display that is a tradition for the town of Neepawa. It's a miniature Christmas village. Cecil Pittman and Joan Enns annually set it up in the front window of the town office, so anyone walking by can have a good glimpse of the town that they've set up there. It's beautiful. Neepawa Christmas dinner canceled for 2021. A local committee had to make some tough decisions recently. At their meeting held on November the 23rd, the board of the Neepawa Christmas dinner event came to the conclusion that they would cancel the 2021 dinner. This decision was made based on a variety of factors, such as the recent COVID-19 breakouts in Neepawa and area, children not being vaccinated yet, and that the event draws in people from all over the area. It was a tough decision, but we wanted to keep all our guests and volunteers safe, said board member Cheryl Beaumont. Right now just wasn't the right time. Last year, the cancellation of the dinner had the committee seek a different avenue to provide cheer through the making and distribution of fellowship bags. While that concept will not be adopted again this year, the idea of providing fellowship is still very much staying the same. This year, the committee's board is encouraging its members and volunteers to get involved with other local initiatives such as Hugs for the Holidays and the Salvation Army's Christmas Hampers. These campaigns will provide our volunteers with safer ways to still be involved in spreading cheer during the holiday season. As a committee, we are very much looking forward to supporting these initiatives, said Beaumont. We hope as well that with people being fantastic in regards to providing us with cash donations and donating door prizes in past years, that the community will turn that energy towards those initiatives this year. The plan at the present moment is to postpone having a dinner until 2022, providing conditions regarding COVID-19 allow for the gathering and the committee deems it appropriate. We're really eager to hear from everyone again to hear everyone talking, laughing, and eating together again in the future when it is safer to do so, said Beaumont. In the meantime, we would like to wish everyone a happy holiday season, and we do look forward to 2022. Now, in the travel and entertainment section, this article is entitled Mountain General at Kelwood Organizing Christmas Market by Kira Patterson. 'Tis the season for Christmas shopping, and the Mountain General store in Kelwood is adding one more option where people can find some gifts. On 2 upcoming Saturdays, December 4th and 11th, they will be holding a Christmas market at the Kelwood School building from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Kaylee Mund, co-owner and operator of the Mountain General and market organizer, noted that they will have 17 vendors featured at the market. We will have all the same vendors as in the summer markets with some new ones too, she said. There will be a large variety of products available at the market with lots of gift ideas. Products will include Christmas decor, body products, food, knitting, leatherworks, antiques, jewelry, plants, and even fresh flowers. Mund added that they will also be taking donations for a food basket to be donated to a local family. The markets may also feature live music through the Harvest Sun Music Festival. And an update on Rockin' the Riverbend by Owen Devereaux. Well, that didn't take long. Just 2 weeks after it was first announced, organizers of the Rockin' the Riverbend musical showcase have confirmed that all of its performance slots have been filled. Jeff Descender, the owner and operator of Frozen Fire Studios, which has partnered with Neepawa Tourism and the Riverbend Makers Market on this event, set for July the 22nd and 23rd, said, "Everyone is shocked by the swift response. We expected, due to holidays and everything else going on right now, that it would be mid-January before we could have everything in place," stated Descender. But after the recent Manitoba Loud Music Awards, it was just everyone wanted to be a part of whatever Frozen Fire was doing. So now we have bands booked for that and any other event we want to put on in the next year. Descender added that it is very exciting to see the positive early reaction to the event. Currently, Rockin' the Riverbend has scheduled 3 separate 45-minute music performances for Friday, July the 22nd, and 5 45-minute sets on Saturday, July 23rd. It will feature a smaller, more intimate setup with an array of acoustic artists on Friday. As for Saturday, once the Markers Market concludes in the afternoon, the musical portion will expand and feature more rock-oriented performers. And this is the schedule for the musical acts. On Friday, July 22nd at 5 p.m., it will be Mavis Rowe. At 6 p.m., Mitch. At 7 p.m., DB and the Deadbeats. On Saturday, July 23rd at 5 p.m., Green Leafy Vegetable. That's quite a name for a band. 6 p.m., Les Shanacapo Band. 7 p.m., Lunch Money. 8 p.m., 7th String. And 9 p.m., Indigo. So that's something to look forward to for the summer holiday season. Local businesses collecting donations for Salvation Army. Local organizations are always finding ways to support local causes, and Christmas is one of the busiest times for that. One way some businesses are helping the community is through toy drives, supporting the Salvation Army Christmas Hamper campaign. Coming up this weekend, Harris Pharmacy is teaming up with the Neepawa Titans to host a toy drive at the Titans game on December the 4th. They will be collecting new unwrapped toys to be donated to the Salvation Army. Another toy drive going on in town is happening at Red Apple. They are collecting donations of new unwrapped toys at their store with a goal of bringing in $2,500 worth in gifts. As of Monday, November 29th, they are almost halfway to their goal. Donations to their drive will be accepted until December the 11th. In another endeavor to help fill the Christmas hampers, the Neepawa Public Library has a mitten tree set up. They are taking donations of mittens, scarves, toques, and slippers to be donated to the Salvation Army. Donations can be made during their opening hours or dropped off in their book drop slot after hours. All right. Rolling River School Division custodial strike continues. Over a month has passed since the custodial staff at Rolling River School Division began their strike, and the union is saying they don't see an end in sight. The Rolling River School Division continues to dig in its heels against school custodians and cleaners, stated David Jacks, QP Media representative. The striking employees are looking for a 4-year deal equal to what other staff in the division and across the province received. School custodians and cleaners are asking for parity with what teachers and other school support staff represented by QP across Manitoba received through fair negotiations, Jacks said. The Rolling River School Division continues to offer its school custodians and cleaners less than others, even though the government has now withdrawn its wage freeze legislation. One of the employees striking in Minnedosa noted that they expect negotiations could last another month. The individual said that the school division's refusal to offer them the deal they want equates to bullying, especially since the rest of the staff in Rolling River School Division received a raise. The division continues to use replacement workers who are not familiar with schools and are doing less than the bare minimum. The division is putting our schools and children at risk by not settling with school custodians and cleaners who are just asking for the same. We thank all the parents and students who have voiced their support for these important workers. We urge the public to contact their elected school trustees and ask them to settle this deal with school cleaners and custodians now. Jason Klein, interim superintendent for Rolling River School Division, said that the division believes in and respects the collective bargaining process and that bargaining is best done between the parties at the bargaining table. I am unable to provide any update on bargaining at this time. Next, we have the Spruce Plains RCMP report by Corporal Jacob Stanton. During the week of November 22nd to the 28th, Spruce Plains RCMP dealt with 60 police activities. On November the 22nd, RCMP conducted a COVID compliance check at a residence in the municipality of Glenella, Lansdowne. All persons were found complying with quarantine regulations. Police received a classic report of cattle that had gotten out of their fence in the RM of North Cypress, Langford. The cattle had been retrieved by their owner prior to police arrival. The downed fence is sure to be beefed up to prevent further escape attempts. Police responded to a motor vehicle versus deer collision in the RM of Oakview. There were no injuries to the occupants of the vehicle. On November 23rd, RCMP received a report of threats being uttered in Minnedosa. After investigation, the complainant declined to proceed with further police action. Police conducted COVID compliance checks in the municipality of Westlake, Gladstone, and in the RM of Rosedale. All persons were found complying with quarantine regulations. Police received a report of a suspicious person at a business in Neepawa, but there was insufficient evidence to proceed. On November the 24th, RCMP assisted with keeping the peace in Minnedosa, where all parties cooperated peacefully and without issue. Police received a report of a vehicle theft in Minnedosa. After investigation, it was determined that the allegation was unfounded. Police received a complaint of a hit and run to a vehicle in Neepawa, where there was insufficient evidence to proceed further. On November 25th, RCMP were dispatched to a house fire in Rapid City. There were no injuries, and the fire was believed to have been started by a heater in the garage. Police received a request to conduct a well-being check in Rapid City. The matter is still under investigation. November the 26th, RCMP responded to a report of fraud in Neepawa. The complainant was defrauded a substantial amount of money by illegitimate scam investment companies. The matter is still under investigation. Police received another report of fraud, this time in Minnedosa, where money was withdrawn fraudulently. The investigation is ongoing. On November the 27th, RCMP responded to a report of a domestic assault in Rapid City. Police attended and discovered the suspect had left, but was located shortly after at another residence. One person was arrested, charged, and released with a future court appearance. Police were dispatched to a commercial alarm in Minnedosa that was determined to have been set off accidentally. November the 28th, RCMP conducted various proactive traffic enforcement, engaging with several motorists. Several tickets for speeding were issued. If you have any information about these crimes or any other crimes, please contact your local RCMP office or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the Neepawa and Minnedosa RCMP detachments advise they will be limiting front counter services at the detachments until further notice. We request that you contact each detachment at Neepawa 204-476-7340 or at Minnedosa 204-867-2916 to inquire about criminal record checks or to file a report. Leave a message if needed, and it will be checked the following business day. Do not leave a message if you require immediate police assistance. You must dial 204-476-7338 for Neepawa, 204-867-2751 for Minnedosa, or 911 to have a police officer respond to you promptly. Now for the Carberry North Cypress Langford section called Here and There by Gladwin Scott. Raina Martins is the interim music teacher at Carberry Collegiate, which includes grades 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, senior band, and jazz band. Martins, born in Yorkton, attended post-secondary at Briarcrest College for 3 years and 2 years at Minot State University. She has taught at Deloraine and Elton in term positions and lives in Brandon. Her favorite instruments are clarinet and piano. The senior band has already performed at the annual Remembrance Day service. And here is a picture of Raina Martins, right here. Terry Ursel's rank of Wanda Ranka, 3rd, Kayla Hunter, 2nd, Tracy Agonia, lead, and Chris Hamblin, 5th, of the Neepawa Curling Club have qualified for the 2022 Scotties in Carberry. Ursel is a very experienced curler, as she has skipped her rank to 3 senior championships and advanced to the Nationals in 2017 in Fredericton and 2019 in Chilliwack and in 2020, but there were no Nationals held that year. She has also curled in half a dozen other provincial championships. Ursel stated, "We know that the competition will be tough, but we're looking forward to some good games and fun." Speaking of the Scotties, the 2022 Manitoba Scotties in Carberry will feature 12 rinks playing on 3 sheets created on the skating ice. December 15th and 16th will feature 4 draws at 8:30 a.m., 12:15 p.m., 4 o'clock p.m., and 8 p.m. The opening ceremonies will be held December the 15th at 6:45 p.m. The Sunday games will be televised. Sunday, December 19th will feature the semifinals at 9 a.m. and the finals at 4 p.m. The Manitoba Women's Curling Championship will advance to the National Scotties in Thunder Bay, Ontario at the Fort William Gardens, January 28th to February 6th. The Carberry Minor Hockey Association will host an under-15 tournament of champions January 6th to the 9th. The winner will advance to the Tournament of Champions in Brandon. Hockey Day in Carberry will be celebrated Saturday, December 4th. All minor teams will be in action. The Gcb Wildcats, who are off to a great start in the 18-team Westman High School Hockey League, have 3 sets of brothers on their roster. The Hoods, Tyler and Dylan, the Elliots, Carter and Peyton, and the Waldners, Jaron and Kaylin. They are all part of head coach Corey Forbes' lineup. The Wildcats offer such values as teamwork, commitment, fun, skill development, and discipline, developed through early morning practices at 7 a.m. most Tuesdays and Thursdays. No practice, no play is the team motto. Trey Dixon scored 3 times for the Wildcats in a 4-1 decision over the Neepawa Tigers in Glenborough, Wednesday, November the 24th. Peyton Elliott sank a single for the hosts, who led 1-0 and 3-1 at the period breaks. Recording assists were Jaron Waldner, Johnny Myers, Tyler Hood, Nathan Dick, Landon Gunnison, Talon Graham. Tristan Friesen robbed goalie Carson Mooney of a shutout. The Wildcats outshot the Tigers 27-20. And in Birtle, on November 26th, goaltender Carson Mooney recorded the shutout as the GCB guys beat the Birtle Shoal Lake Rossburn Falcons 5-0. The hosts were outshot 52-26. Jaron Waldner and Trey Dixon sank a pair and added 2 helpers each for the Wildcats, who fired 3 unanswered second period goals. Johnny Myers dented the twine once and recorded 2 assists. Other assists were collected by Preston Shearer and Tyler Hood. The Wildcats host Reston Elkhorn Melita Pearson in Glenborough December the 8th, and then go on the road for 5 games at Souris, Killarney, Minnedosa, Hamiota, and Reston. The popular Christmas Classic will be held in Glenborough Wednesday, December 22nd at 12:30 p.m. against the Killarney-Wawanesa Raiders. In junior varsity girls volleyball, at the Zone 7 tournament at Elton, November 22nd, the Cougars defeated Neepawa 25-12, 25-12, but lost to the hosts in a tight final match 21-25, 25-20, 15-12. This ended a good season for the junior varsity squad. Jana Brower, Avery Kendall, Paige Lazinski, Eva Bach, Jordan Gibb, Natasha Bausch, Ava Hamilton, Callie Barron, Lexi Unraw, and Emma Saley. The beautiful Minnewasta Golf and Country Club burned to the ground on the weekend. However, the pro shop was spared, so it will be golfing as usual in Morden in the spring. And lastly, 3-point performances by Tanner Fluker, Jaden Johnson, Jory, and Brady McMullen powered Cartwright Clippers as they blanked host Carberry Plainsmen 7-0 on Friday, November the 26th in Tiger Hills Hockey League action. Netminder Troy Chandler recorded the shutout. Period scores were 1-0 and 5-0. Score winners were Kathy Adrianson, Dave Myers, and Tanner Olmstead. A Cartwright fan took home the 50-50 and $200. The next Plainsman home game is Friday, December 3rd at 8 p.m. versus the Gladstone Lakers. Alrighty, next we have local options for pediatric COVID-19 vaccines by Kira Patterson. Now that the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine has been approved for children aged 5 and up, Manitoba is working to make as many appointments available as possible. In addition to the vaccine super sites, there will be several other locations where kids can get the shot in local areas. Many pharmacies across the province are offering the Pfizer pediatric vaccine. In the banner and press coverage area, this includes Harris Pharmacy in Neepawa and Gladstone Pharmacy. Possibly one of the most accessible ways to get children immunized will be through the schools. Many school divisions across the province have already held clinics for students aged 12 to 17, but now they are working to help the younger age group get access to the jab. We will be having vaccination clinics in our elementary schools in most cases if the demand warrants, noted Beautiful Plains School Division Superintendent Jason Young. We are working with public health currently to determine which schools and what dates this will be arranged for. Young noted that there are still some logistics to work through with the plans, but they know that parental permission will be required for students and that they will have appointments available both during and after school hours. Parents who wish to attend the vaccination with their child will be accommodated, he added. The choice is up to the school divisions whether they want to host clinics at their schools or not, from where they work with public health to create a more detailed plan. We will work with public health and each of our schools to assess what is best in their school setting and make decisions on that basis, Young said. Superintendents of other divisions in the area noted that they're in pretty much the same boat as Beautiful Plains School Division. Public Health has just begun planning dates within our schools, and the division will continue to support our partners in public health as they do this important work for our communities, added Jason Klein, interim superintendent for Rolling River School Division. Both Klein and Bev Sismesko, superintendent of Turtle River School Division, noted that once they have confirmed dates for school clinics, they will be publishing them on their respective divisional websites. Keith Murray, superintendent of Pine Creek School Division, noted that as of last Friday, they were still waiting to hear from public health, but Pine Creek intends to offer vaccine clinics through their schools as well. The regional health authorities are also working closely with public health to offer vaccine clinics for kids in many communities, similar to what they've been doing with adult immunization. As of publication date, Prairie Mountain Health only had dates confirmed up to December the 4th for upcoming clinics. In Brandon, the next available day for kids at the Keystone Center vaccine site would be December the 2nd and December the 4th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. respectively. Minnedosa was set to have a clinic for all eligible ages on December the 2nd at the community hall from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Dauphin had a pair of dates set for December 2nd from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. and December 4th from 10:30 to 4:30 p.m. at the Ukrainian Orthodox Hall. Anyone wanting to book vaccine appointments, either for themselves or for their children, can go to protectmb.ca or call the provincial line 1-844-826-8222. Alternatively, if there's a clinic or pharmacy you'd like to book at, you can call them directly to see if they have appointments available. Agribition attracts participants of all ages. The Canadian Western Agribition was held recently from November the 22nd to the 27th. Here we have a picture of the Horner family, producers from the Neepawa banner and press coverage area, showing Simmental cattle there on the November the 24th. The day resulted in a number of class winners and a senior division champion bull with their red Simmental bull, Mind Game 1005J. He qualified for the CN Supreme on that Saturday via his championship at Manitoba Ag X. They also topped the Simmental sale later that night with the sale of heifer calf HFL Rose 1035J for $42,000 to Longview Cattle Company. And here we have a cute picture of Hunter Tibbet, very intent on helping keep the cattle's pens clean with his fork. And there's 3 pictures here from the latest Christmas wish sale that Arts Forward held at the Yellowhead Hall. Vendors from across Westman region take part in weekend event. Arts Forward hosted its Glorious Christmas wish sale at the Yellowhead Hall in Neepawa. Several vendors showcased their wares, including Kathy's Collectibles of Austin, Manitoba, Neepawa Tourism, and Jody Baker Photography of Neepawa. Major improvements announced to Highway number 10 and bridge on PR 259. Greg Nesbitt, MLA for Riding Mountain, announced on Tuesday, November the 30th, the plan for improvements by Manitoba Infrastructure to 3 sections of Provincial Trunk Highway 10 from Minnedosa to Riding Mountain National Park. Our PC government is committed to improving safety and traffic flow in communities across our province. I am very pleased to announce this project has been approved to make Highway 10 safer and more efficient, as well as create construction jobs for Manitoba and help grow our economy. Manitoba Infrastructure has approved upgrades to a portion of PTH 10 from 1.2 kilometers north of the north junction of PTH 16 to 11.6 kilometers north of the north junction of PTH 16 for a distance of 10.4 kilometers. Upgrades include bituminous reconstruction and partially paved shoulders. Thin lift overlays have also been approved for the portions 11.6 kilometers north of the north junction of PTH 16 to PTH 45 and from PTH 45 to 2.6 kilometers north of PR 354. All work is scheduled to start in the summer of 2022. Replacement of the bridge structure crossing the rolling river on PTH 10 north of Erickson has also been approved. The bridge replacement project is in the initial design stage with a preliminary time frame for construction to start in 2024. The replacement of the bridge over the Assiniboine River on PR 259 near Verdun will provide enhanced flood mitigation protection. Construction of the bridge is scheduled to begin this winter. These investments are part of the province's record $2.1 billion investment in strategic infrastructure to help stimulate economic growth and create jobs. Through Budget 2021, over $630 million has been invested in road construction and maintenance to support enhanced provincial road infrastructure. Now for the sports pages. Neepawa Farmers pummel Pilot Mound by Owen Devereaux. Trust me on this one, the Neepawa Farmers' most recent game in the Tiger Hills Hockey League was even more one-sided than the final score would actually suggest. The Farmers simply dominated out on the ice at the Yellowhead Center on Saturday, November 27th, ultimately upending the Pilot Mound Pilots by the score of 8-2. Neepawa scored the first 7 goals of the night, with 4 in the first, 3 in the second period. Much of those goals were secured by recent arrivals to the roster from the former Neepawa natives. Benoit Mowbray had a hat trick on the night, while Brad Marshall netted a pair. Fellow Natives alumnus Corbin Mariash added a goal and assist, while Braden Gillies also had a pair of assists. Neepawa Farmers veterans Matt Lowry and Lance Nugent also contributed with goals. Lowry also had a pair of assists to make it a 4-point night, while Nugent also notched an assist. Goaltender Grant Graham made 33 saves on the night for Neepawa in the victory. The win keeps Neepawa perfect on the year at 5-0-0 and in first place in the THHL's Eastern Division. Next up for the Farmers is a game in Wawanesa on Friday, December the 3rd. And here's a picture of Neepawa's Clark Rempel and Josh Van de Velde of Pilot Mound dropping the gloves in the second period on Saturday, November 27th. While you could suggest that this tilt was a close one, the rest of the game was anything but close, as Neepawa cruised to an 8-2 victory. Then the NAC Tigers wrap up a hectic week of hockey. It's been a busy week for the NACI Tigers hockey team, playing 4 games in just a 7-day span. The first of these contests was on Wednesday, November 24th, versus the Gcb Wildcats. Trey Dixon scored 3 times for the Wildcats to help propel GCB to a 4-1 win. Those were the 14th, 15th, and 16th goals of the season for Dixon, who is currently second in league scoring with 29 points. Peyton Elliott scored the other goal for GCB in the game. As for NACI, Tristan Friesen scored the lone goal for the Tigers. A hat trick from Lennon Carr helped to lead the NACI Tigers to a 6-3 victory over the Verdun Golden Bears on Friday, November 26th in Westman High School hockey play. Carr scored a pair in the first period, then added one more late in the third. Brody Pollock, Tarek Lapointe, and Callan Dembo also scored for the Tigers. Lapointe also added a pair of assists on the night, while Ryder Finney earned the win in net for an NACI with a 23 save performance. The win improved the Tigers' regular season record to 5-4-0. Then on Monday, November 29th, the NACI Tigers headed north to St. Rose de Lac to face the McCreary St. Rose Mountaineers. The Mountaineers would win this game by the score of 7-3. The scoring details on the night were unavailable before the Banner Press publication deadline. And the Neepawa Titans are looking for some consistency in play before the second half of the season by Owen Devereaux. The last 2 weeks have been a huge test of endurance, both physically and mentally, for the Neepawa Titans. The Junior A club recently played 6 games against 4 different opponents in just a 9-day interval. And while their results were not what they had hoped for, 1-3-1-1 for 4 points over the course of those games, Titans head coach and GM Ken Pearson said there are still a few positives that they can take away from this. It was a bit of a different grind for them, going from 2 games every 7 days to playing 6 games in 9 days. It tested them mentally to see how they were able to hold up and perform. I think we had enough healthy bodies for the most part to continue to compete night in and night out, stated Pearson. However, you could see some of the guys mentally were having a struggle, just getting tired, but that's kind of expected. Over the last 2 years, the game has been a little bit different, but everyone goes through those challenges. For us as a coaching staff, it was a good opportunity for us to see their response to things as things get tough. Pearson did express his thoughts regarding the team's inability this season to find consistency within its game. For whatever reason, we haven't been able to put 2 good games together, back to back. Our consistency is something that we've had to battle since September. Why that is, I'm still not sure. We need to improve that, and there's still time to do so. We're just 3 points out of 3rd place in the West Division standings. If we can put together back-to-back wins, it'll launch us into a better position and build some confidence going into the second half of the season. Pearson added that the potential return to the lineup of Austin Klein and Cade Benston, who have been out due to injuries, could bring some new energy on the ice. He's hopeful that they will both be able to return before Christmas. Next on the schedule for Neepawa is a pair of games against the Winnipeg Blues, who are currently 2nd on the MJHL East Division. The next home game at the Yellowhead Centre will be on Saturday, December the 4th, with a 7:30 p.m. start time. NACI nominees revealed for RMFL Awards by Owen Devereaux. The year-end award nominees for the Rural Manitoba Football League, RMFL, have been announced, and several NACI Tigers are up for recognition. Ward Brister is up for the Most Outstanding Player, Offense. This past season, Brister had 3 games with over 200 yards in passing and 2 games with 4+ passing touchdowns. As for the Most Outstanding Player on Defense, the Tigers will be represented by Coulter Burney, who had 9 sacks on the season. Other notable NACI award nominees include Miles Willerton, Most Outstanding Player for Offensive Line, Angelo Verbo, Defensive Line and Special Teams, Brody Pollock, Rookie of the Year, Tarek Lapointe, the Norris Aitken Memorial Award, Dawson Jacobsen, the Parker Guy Memorial Award. As well, each season, the RMFL awards 11 All-Star spots to each team. This year, the NACI Tigers are represented by Jacob McCharles, Colin Medever, Jason Whitlaw, Rylan Sumner, Ward Brister, Coulter Burney, Miles Willerton, Angelo Verbo, Brody Pollock, Tarek Lapointe, and Dawson Jacobsen. All right, Patch rejuvenates search for the NPC All-Stars by Casper Werhan. A story from October 7th, 2016 has come full circle for the Neepawa Banner and Press. Recently, on November 24th, 2021, Neepawa resident Jackie Snyder stopped in at the office with a historical piece. The piece was a patch depicting a maple leaf containing the initials NPC. The patch had been found while Snyder was sifting through family belongings in aid of the Neepawa archives. Neither Snyder nor the archives quite knew what the patch had relation to, so Snyder made a bid online for help. What does this have to do with the 2016 Neepawa Banner and Press archives? Well, a friend of Snyder's who currently lives in Brandon but is formerly from Neepawa had recalled an article and photo submitted by Riding Mountain National Park from that date. The photo depicted a hockey team wearing jerseys bearing that same design, and the article was a call for aid in identifying those pictured. That team was the National Parks of Canada All-Stars, NPC. During the Depression in the 1930s, 10 government relief camps were set up in Riding Mountain National Park. Hundreds of men were stationed there during the winter months, receiving $5 a month, plus room and board. Projects requiring warmer weather, such as road building and completion of the golf course, were conducted during the summer months. Some local farmers were hired at the camps as well, if they had a good team and sleigh to haul wood and stones. It was by these men's hands which much of the groundwork for Clear Lake's town site, beach, and golf course were done. Each camp also had its own hockey team. Walter Turk Broda, a goalie from Camp 1, even became a goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs and a 5-time Stanley Cup winner later on. The NPC All-Stars were the very first Parks of Canada hockey team in the country, being established in 1933. After the picture of the team was first printed in 2016, only 3 individuals had been fully identified, one of which being the aforementioned Broda. The remaining individuals have only their last names. The full team was Mike Osmak, Beatty, Abramson, Sweet, Nicholas, Brodak, Dinsdale, Galbraith, Johnson, Walter Turk Broda, and Pickup. Jackie Snyder's family tie to this team was her father, Jeff Pasquale. Readers may recognize that name from previous years, as he was featured in a photo on March 29, 2019, and has made appearances in the Looking Back section as Neepawa's police chief. Snyder says Pasquale had moved to Canada from England in approximately 1928. Pasquale was hired to work at the RMNP relief camps, but being 15 to 17 years old at the time, and it being unclear to Snyder if he was able to skate, was not a player on the team. However, due to clear sentimental value via possession of the patch, it is theorized that Pasquale still had some involvement with the All-Stars. Pasquale held a passion for all sports and therefore may have been an equipment manager or filled another role for the team while working there. If anyone has information regarding the first names of the remaining individuals, they are urged to contact the Neepawa Banner and Press by email at newsroom@neepawapress.com or by phoning 204-476-3401. Thanks are extended to Jackie Snyder for bringing in the patch, and to Fred Shepard and Richard Dupuis, who had been working on the RMNP hockey project together and provided valuable information in aid of this article. And here we have a couple of pictures. This one is a replica NPC sweater made by Keener Jerseys from Winnipeg, which was to be used during the Heritage Hockey Game on February the 11th in 2017 at Clear Lake in Riding Mountain National Park. The original version of the sweater can be seen on the right. So here we have pictured the National Parks of Canada are All-Stars. And there are some names here. Mike Osmak, Beatty, Abramson, Sweet, Nicholas or Nick Brodak, Dinsdale, and Galbraith. In the front row we have Johnson, Walter Turk Broda, and Pickup. All right, the Breakfast Club returns to Neepawa by Owen Devereaux. After having to take a year-long hiatus due to the enforcement of provincial COVID-19 restrictions, the Neepawa Breakfast Club is back. The volunteer-run hockey skills program hit the ice once again on Wednesday, November the 17th at the Yellowhead Centre. It provides youth between the ages of 5 to 15 years a chance to improve their hockey skills and also enjoy a healthy breakfast before heading off to school. The on-ice activities are run by Landon Cameron with an assist from members of the Neepawa Titans Junior A Hockey Club. Meanwhile, the work in preparing the breakfast is being done thanks to the volunteer efforts of individuals such as Stefan Lapointe, Ryan Smith, Chris Kalbaki, and Kelly Evans. The program is free thanks to the donations from local groups such as the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, who donated towards the cost of ice rental, and Neepawa Gladstone Co-op, who have donated $500 towards the purchase of the food. Landon Cameron, who has been an important part of the Breakfast Club right from its inception, told the Banner and Press that everyone is feeling great about being able to get back out there. It was super fun to be back out there. I love this program and just being able to see the kids that I don't get to see much anymore or coach anymore coming back out. It was a lot of fun. I don't think you could wipe the smile off my face, exclaimed Cameron. It was good watching the kids try some skating and stick handling drills and stuff like that. Just really looking forward to the year. Cameron added that the organization of parents and volunteers has been incredibly easy, as there is a strong core of supporters who don't mind jumping in and helping out. He noted it's awesome to see the amount of parents that will step up and help. The Neepawa Breakfast Club program runs from November to February every Wednesday morning, starting at around 7 a.m. at the Yellowhead Center. Donations to help cover the program's food costs are welcome. Here's a picture of some of them on the ice on November the 17th. And here we have parents and volunteers looking after both the on-ice activities in the arena and the preparation of the breakfast in the kitchen. After spending an hour out on the ice, the youngsters involved were able to sit down to a healthy breakfast just before heading off to school. Now let's go back here. Now I'll read Homebodies by Rita Friesen. This week it's entitled Personal Weather Predictors. After we reach a certain age, we all have them, those joints and spots that ache when the weather is changing. Some of us started with our own forecasters at an earlier age than others. Some of us have them due to injuries. Some of us have them genetically. I have two distinct predictors that I notice and rely on. My earliest indicator is my right hand thumb joint. Just looking at it, one can see the poor thing is enlarged and has lost a fair amount of mobility. I have always been a hand person, noticing others' hands and criticizing my own. I loved Mary's hands. They were age-spotted and wrinkled, not gnarled or twisted, best at making brownies and playing guitar. They were dignified old hands. I love one of my daughter's hands. The fingers are straight and slender, well-proportioned, and gifted at playing piano or guitar and caring for others. So mine are mine, and there are days when I look at them and see the beauty of dignified old hands, and days when I see short, stubby fingers with short, uneven nails and a gnarled knuckle. I let my daughter know when I am having a good hand day. But why is the knuckle inflamed and enlarged? Well, when I was an early teen, the farm cow went visiting the neighbors, and I was sent to retrieve her. Had the rope around her neck and was heading out of the corral when she decided that her visit had not accomplished all she desired. And with a quick turn, she wrapped my hand around a pole with the thumb twisted in an unnatural position. It wasn't broken or really sprained, just badly bruised and sorely hurt. Cold weather aggravates the poor thing, and there is a strong incentive to keep it warm. Incoming systems also trigger aches. The second barometer is more recent. Way back in 2002, I had surgery for a brain aneurysm. The surgery went wonderfully well, with very few residual effects. I did have to relearn to a degree how to read, going back to easy books I knew and loved to improve my speed and retention. Reading is still a chore rather than the devouring passion I had pre-surgery, but I can and do still read. The other result is a series of divots in the left front of my skull. There's a thumb-size one and two much lesser ones at the point of entry for the operation. The larger one responds to the change in barometric pressure, and if a system is coming in fast, I feel it. Heck, anyone brave enough to place his or her finger in the depression feels it. Those days, the dip is marked. I sometimes think of making a wax impression to verify the change in depth, but resist not wanting to remove hardened wax from my hair. When this occurs, the skin on my scalp is tense and crawly, and then when the weather stabilizes, so do I. Yep, many of us have built-in weather forecasters, a pair of active living, a reminder we are still alive and in tune with nature. So now we have Ken Waddell's right in the center called Truth and Consequences. Quite a few truth and consequences following. Truth. Now, the views expressed in this column are the writer's personal views and are not to be taken as being the view of the Banner and Press staff. Truth. Trudeau can fly to Glasgow to meet with 30,000 strangers from all over the world, but Parliament meets by Zoom. Consequences. Trudeau is being scorned by more and more Canadians. Truth. COVID-19 is a serious disease with serious results. Consequences. Less than 5% of Manitobans got infected with COVID-19. The vast majority recovered with few effects. Some got really sick, and about 1,300 people died in the province over 20 months. That's about 65 out of 1,029 deaths per month in Manitoba from all causes. Truth. 18,141 people in Canada died from COVID-19 over the age of 80. 11,100 in all other categories, including 6,086 in the 70 to 79 age group. 19 died in the 0 to 19 age group. Consequences. The focus of protection and control for COVID-19 has largely been misdirected. How to protect and treat older people should have had a far larger emphasis. Truth. The majority of cases and deaths have been in care homes. Consequences. Care homes have fought a good fight, but have lost a lot of people. The number of deaths shows how inadequately we have researched and funded the care for our elderly. Truth. Jan Lagares of the Long-Term Care Association of Manitoba said in an interview with the Banner and Press, care homes have been underfunded in Manitoba for 20 years. Consequences. 2 political parties and now 4 premiers have presided over this shortfall. The staffing levels, the research levels, the study of best practices across Manitoba or from other areas have been lacking. Nutrition standards at care homes are inadequate. As far as we know, the supplementation with vitamins and minerals are lacking, if they exist at all, and if residents become dehydrated, IV fluids are not administered in care homes. They are not able or allowed to do so. Residents have to go to the hospital for that level of care. And note, if that is incorrect, please let me know. Truth. When COVID-19 broke out, the care homes were disallowed to utilize their best and free resource, namely family and volunteers. Consequences. Hundreds of residents suffered from neglect, loneliness, dehydration, and a general lack of attention. In some cases, it was the fault of care home management, but in most cases, it was due to simply not enough staff and banning volunteers. Truth. Many elderly people with or without getting COVID-19 simply gave up when family and volunteers stopped coming to see them. Consequences. Many died early deaths and sometimes alone and afraid. Truth. The Canadian government actually owns many care homes and operates them on a for-profit basis. The federal government, through the Crown Corporation Public Sector Pension Investment Board, is the sole owner of Revera Inc. and therefore the owner of Canada's second largest chain of for-profit long-term care facilities. Consequences: by taking a profit for their own pension fund, the Canadian government robs care homes of money that should go into more staffing and research. Let that sink in for a bit and see if it doesn't make you very angry. All right, I'm just going to read one more article here by Neil Stroshine, Faithfully Yours. It's called Christmas Cameos, Octavian. In 21 days, Christians of many faith traditions will hold special services on Christmas Eve. As they have done in previous years, they will read, chant, or recite the Christmas story as recorded in St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 2. As these verses are read, we may close our eyes and imagine what it must have been like that night in the town where Jesus was born, out on the hillside as the angels announced his birth to the shepherds, or around the manger as new parents and shepherds looked on a sleeping baby. It all seemed so magical, but nothing could be further from the truth. The world into which Jesus came was filled with insurrection, rebellion, conspiracies, and murder. After the death of Julius Caesar, two men, Mark Antony and Octavian, went to war to decide who would succeed Julius as Rome's head of the state. Octavian won, and the Roman Senate acclaimed him as their new leader. Octavian's first priority was to ensure that all his borders were secure and that any rebellions anywhere in his jurisdiction were put down before they could cause serious problems. Then he decreed that for the time being at least, Rome was big enough, and that no expansionist wars would be fought for as long as he was in charge. Octavian was a very powerful leader. As his power grew, so did his ego, and so did his determination to assume absolute power. The Senate, to keep him happy, voted him any title he wished to have. One of the titles they gave him was Augustus, which means enlightened one. That is how he came to be known as Imperator Augustus, the title by which he is introduced to us in Luke 2, verse 1. Once all of his borders were secure and Octavian realized just how big his empire really was, he commissioned a census. Residents were required to return to their ancestral towns, be registered by the census takers, and pay a head tax, a specified fee per person set by the emperor. Dates for the census were set, and everyone had to comply. St. Luke tells us that this was the first census ever taken in the Roman Empire, and ancient history verifies Luke's statement as fact. When he commissioned the census, Octavian had no idea that he was helping fulfill an ancient Old Testament prophecy. Hundreds of years before Octavian was born, the prophet Micah had predicted the birth of a king whose kingdom would be larger and last far longer than Octavian's empire. That king was to be born in the town of Bethlehem, just a few miles away from Jerusalem. But as the Christmas story begins, the one who is to give birth to this king is living in the town of Nazareth in northern Israel. And she's so close to her due date that traveling to any location, even to visit a friend across town, is out of the question. But the emperor's order had to be obeyed, so she and her husband Joseph packed their bags and went to Bethlehem, where in fulfillment of Micah's prophecy, her child Jesus was born. There are no limits to God's power. Octavian did not acknowledge or worship God, yet God used him to help fulfill Micah's prophecy. God can do the same today. He asks us to follow the examples of Mary and Joseph, to obey those in authority over us, and trust him to cause all things to work together for our good. So that is it for this week's edition of the Banner and Press. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.